whole bunch about visual novels, the weird and wonderful world of. If at any point you can't hear me or any of the panelists, just wave your hand.
Sorry.
As always, we have a hashtag down the bottom, GX visual novels, heck yeah. So please, comments, questions. We really want to hear about what visual novels you're loving, what you're loving about them, what you're not loving about them, and just join the conversation there. So yes, so I'm Lauren, the moderator. I am a games marketer by day. I'm slowly making a made handmade dating game visual novel as well called Made with Love. And yeah, I'm a big consumer of these types of games as well. So if I can just get my panelists going down from me just to talk about themselves and also their relationship with VNs, that would be great.
Oh god, I'm first. Okay, so I'm Steph. I do writing, narrative design, and podcasting, which is probably like watch one of my panels. I am currently one of the writers on Loverwatch, which is the big Overwatch dating sim that you may have heard of, that you may not have. That's one of my main experiences with visual novels. I play them casually. I've mostly watched my friends play them and been really into it. I need to play more because I don't play enough. I'm coming more from like the writing point of view than the playing.
Cool. I am McNally. I do a lot of writing for VMs. It's sort of my natural progression from doing twine stuff to doing a lot of stuff, and I play a lot of them. They are pretty good. Oh, no, I can't keep going there. It's too much. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of VMs, and they're probably my favorite style to write in. So that's where I'm coming from.
Hello, my name is Clinnick. I'm from Davidson, and I am currently working on a visual novel called Constant Suicide. I don't actually play that many visual novels that are like original English ones. I come from a Japanese visual novel background, so I love things like Danganronpa and the Zero Escape series.
Is this something in hipster to visual novels? Like, I don't want your shitty Western ones. I only go for the original
like,
Japanese.
I have like imports.
Do you play the non-translated versions? Like, no. You gotta give this to me pure.
I may have recently started playing Danganronpa 3 in Japanese because I can't wait for it to be in English. So yeah.
So we know our stuff is,
Yeah, we're all uber nerds, super passionate, famous, like everybody who's here for the whole weekend. So visual novels as a term, it's a difficult one. You know, it's a label. Are we talking about a genre? Are we talking about a structure? Are we talking about an approach? It's not like I'm really into FPS games because that's talking about one mechanic and it's super clear. Visual novels as a grouping term is a little bit difficult. So I just want to talk to the panelists about what does the term visual novel mean for you? Is there something that a game has to have to fall into this basket?
I feel like the aesthetic for me.
Yeah.
Like if it looks like a visual novel, then like so that's a visual novel. But of course, because some games are clearly visual novels, they don't actually have that look of like the portrait and the titty box.
To be honest, like my first experience with like visual novels and the way that resonated with me was actually the Fire Emblem series, which is not a visual novel. It's a turn-based strategy game. But all of the storytelling is done in the form of visual novels. You have text boxes and character sprites that emote. And that was the first time I'm like, this is a super dope way to tell a story. Plus, like, as someone who's only real skill is writing, like, this seems like a thing that I could reproduce with, like, other people without, like, you know, the multi-million-dollar budget of, say, BioWare. So, things that are visual novels to me, it is about that the pacing of the story and like the way that it's delivered in that for me it's the association between like character sprite, text box, and that's like your primary story interaction, and any mechanics laid on top of that are sort of
extra.
Yeah. Like a game can be more than one thing, which is a shocking concept.
I don't have anywhere near as clear answer as any of these. I would say that the way I consider a visual novel is it is a narrative-based game that has branching paths, but not based on statistics, based on choice, because otherwise that falls into a dating simulator rather than a visual novel.
Would you say like Mass Effect's a visual novel?
I would say parts of Mass Effect is visual novel.
It's kind of like a 3D visual novel
Yeah.
with shooting elements.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget that there's shooting in Mass Effect.
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of think of it. So I'm not necessarily after the portrait Xbox. Maybe I should be. But I'm just like, it's narrative driven and it's choice based. And of course, like, it just...
Well, there's like the Telltale games that are very, like, they don't have the text boxes or the portraits, but structurally,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are
yeah.
100%
Like,
visual novels.
I'm pretty sure they think for interactive narratives. But,
Yeah, well,
Well, they can go screw themselves. Visual novels now.
Yeah, this is not the interactive narrative.
So we are talking about visual novels being something that focuses on narrative emotional rewards for players, and I think we would say that everyone in here are narrative fans. Hell yeah! But that visual novels maybe they do focus on emotional rewards. There's something that will have some kind of visuals or imagery, because if they don't, then maybe they're more like interactive fiction or something more like that. But it still is this amorphous thing. Like a visual novel to one person is different to something else. Some people feel that visual novels are only the ones that originate in Japan. You know, like there's a million different things. What we are finding with this amorphous genre/category of games is that there's lots of queer creators and there's lots of queer content if we compare it to other games, even of similar scope. So I'm very curious to hear from the panelists about why they feel it might be that a lot of queer creators and queer content are happening in visual novels.
I mean, the first thing I would say is that it's an easy thing to get into. Like, a visual novel doesn't require a lot of prior gaming knowledge to get into. Like, you don't have to be great at FPSs to play a visual novel. You have to be great at, like, puzzles like Zelda or something like that. And also from a creative point of view, it's very easy to get into that. There's a lot of tools to write visual novels now and create visual novels. Like, even Unity has a plugin for Fungus, which is really good. Like, I'm useless at programming in Unity and I can still use Fungus. And there's RimPy and other things as well. Like, there's a lot of great tools to get into it. And if you can write and if you can draw, basically, like, you're in, you're set, you can make a visual novel. I think that's one of the things, like, a lot of queer and minority people are not super rich. They may not have the same education as other people who are more privileged. And so stuff like free tools or like games that are cheaper and easier to get into can definitely help us foster a community within that. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I think that the fact that they are reasonably accessible to make, especially compared to other styles of games, and like the emotional and sort of like even visual payoff for what you can get out of a visual novel for like the money that you spend on it is often like it's a really good ratio. And since there's also like there's less of a market for queer stuff than for mainstream stuff, so you can't necessarily bank on your queer game. Like, it's not going to bring you that great. So, which that actually doesn't work out outside of America, because our money is not in our hotel bills. It's fine, yeah. Which is the only currency I deal with because I'm so rich from all those queer dollars. You can't, like, it is important to, like, make games with sort of lower cost if you're angling for, like, a queer audience, because you just can't expect the same audience resonance, because for some reason, straight people just don't get into queer stuff. Like, they think it's going to poison them or something, or, like,
obviously it's contagious.
Yeah, like, we're expected to just be like, oh yeah, I can relate to everyone on TV being straight, but you put a queer person, and they're like, oh, that's for the queers, it's not for them. But I think also there's something to be said for, like, visual novels can be accessible outside of gaming, because, like, as Sam was saying, like, they don't require any sort of, like, high level of, like, mechanical skill to play them. Their stories are more than anything, and obviously, like, different games will have different levels, like, accessibility levels, but they, like, more people can get into them, and there are plenty of people who will get into visual novels and not consider themselves gamers or not play other games. So even if you're queer but not a gamer, but you want more queer stories, visual novels can be a great place to go. And especially now, like, you know, they're really easy to get on, like, mobile devices, like phones and tablets and stuff. They're really easy, like any shitty-ass computer can play most visual novels. Like, there are things that most people can get, and most people can enjoy, regardless of their history, their experience, and their, you know, like, access to, say, the latest, best console. Like, you know, maybe you can't afford a PlayStation 4, but you've probably got a phone. You can can download, like, you know, say the Voltage app and play that.
There's some super addictive phone dating sims.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm scared of playing them more because I know they'll take all my money.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if you want to continue this route, pay us some money. I'm like, you do though, you really want to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I ended up putting like $70 into the signature.
Oh god, that one almost got me.
I was like, I'm gonna call him.
So just jumping in to talk about distribution and access for a little bit, we also find that with queer content in games, when you're putting a game that has queer content up to the ESRB or age rating classification boards, it gets, we just lost that for a second. It actually gets rated a lot higher than, say, violence. So the sexual themes end up bumping up age ratings a whole lot. And also it's very expensive. If you go to the ESRB looking for a rating for your game, you don't get the rating that you want and you want to go back. That's like minimum $20,000 each time. It's very expensive, extremely expensive. But that's like legacy games like console or box distribution where you have to be able to have an age rating. We see a lot of visual novels on platforms like Steam that don't need age ratings. They can be unrated as well. So when you take away a very expensive, difficult thing that penalizes queer content out of the picture, explosion and beautiful thriving growth of games. But Tina, I wanted to speak particularly for yourself as a consumer and as a fan going, yeah, I'm going to make that. I'm going to have an awesome Kickstarter campaign and make a visual novel. Like for you, what were the steps there?
Okay, so I had just finished, I think the most recent thing from the game was out, and then I googled to find games that were similar to it, and I couldn't find any. So it was just like, alright, I guess I have to make a game then.
We've all been there.
Yeah, so then I learned like Grumpy over the weekend and had a game that functioned, which was like, alright, this is possible. So then from there, just obviously storyboarding and thinking about what I wanted. But I wanted like the death that comes along with all the like punishment games that Japan has, but I also wanted the romance of like the dating games. So I just kind of put them together. But I also wanted to make sure that it wasn't. It really annoys me when I play a lot of the Japanese dating games. Like, and if I play Okabe and I'll be playing like as a girl and there are boy options to date, I usually want to date like this sister or something. Because you know they're usually like from nice or something. But I wanted to make sure that like even though I had the dating options in the game that I make, I wanted it to be that you know you could date others. So like I have 7 total options, but they all have their own sexual preferences that you don't actually know about. So at the beginning of the game, you actually pick whether you want to be like a boy or a girl or whatever, but then that determines how they treat you, and you can actually get friend zoned, which I think is kind of.
So you're telling me I can pay money for your game, and someone will turn me down?
Yeah.
No.
I think this is real life already.
I just find it a bit frustrating that like when you play a dating game, like you know who the options are, so you already know that you can have them at the end of the day.
You know there's going to be a walkthrough on like day 1,
Yeah.
right?
But I wanted to make it that you don't actually know. Like you don't know in real life when you see someone across the room. Like you don't know for sure. Like you're gonna go and try that out. So I don't
Try that out.
try that out. Try it out. Yeah.
Sometimes I wish you could click on someone to just
Like at the Sims, if you look at the like information, it'll be like orientation, it'll be like straight or something. You're like, I want you to do that in real life.
Yeah.
It's like when you say Raymond, you're like, I'm not good.
So we've touched a little bit on a whole lot of elements of visual novels and things that we love and things that can be a little bit challenging as well. Are there things that as creators are we seeing things in VNs or in the creator or the consumer culture that we're actually not happy with or uncomfortable about? Do you have some concerns?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. One of my big ones is like the amount of abusive stuff.
Yeah.
In VNs or dating sims. Like a lot of the times, a lot of the romances, at least in the ones I've played and I've seen my friends talk about, is they will be quite manipulative or quite abusive or toxic, and it seems like there's a dark, edgy one, and this is hot kind of thing, like more Twilight thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest issues is that it's dubious consent all the time. It's not ever tackled as a problem, it's seen as a hot thing, and that can cause a lot of issues and people understanding how bad it is.
Especially with like male romance roots.
Yeah.
That it's like that's perpetuating so much weird stuff.
It's not good,
like,
and it makes people internalize that toxic bullshit and think that that's
absolutely.
normal and that that's supposed to be hot. It's not good.
I picked up games where like one of the first things that happens is a dude will just like straight up like violate boundaries. You're like, he pushes you against a wall, or he just like goes into
Just
against
throw stops you or
And I'm like,
something.
why is my next option not slit his fucking throat?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that stuck out to me is how common that is.
I also find a lot of those games, like, they expect emotional labor of a lot of the time of the player. It's like people coming in with their problems.
Mystic Messenger is a big thing of that. There's so much emotional labor going into the player, and especially since you get so involved because it's like you feel like you're actually text messaging people. Like it feels like actual emotional labor.
I had to have an alarm set so I'd wake up at 3 o'clock so I wouldn't miss chat rooms and talking to people. So I'd have it set so I would wake up like every 3 hours.
Oh, you got a bad.
Oh, I know you did. I did.
There's also the idea that, like, for a lot of these games, like there is like specific like sexual rewards that are offered, which, like, you know, I just came from a panel on A stuff, and that is like so not a thing that I want to not be able to like opt out of. But that's like a lot of the time that's your end goal is either like you bang or you get married. Like those are the places that they want those stories to go, and that's not very interesting a lot of the time. So
I think I'm starting to agree with like a lot of the games just kind of like respect things out the window. And like I'm not gonna say I don't mind a little prostitution. But I think there needs to be that conversation beforehand, or at least as it's happening, that you have the option to kind of flag something if it isn't appropriate. And I think most of the time the games are just like, oh, this just happens to you, and you just kind of like, oh baby, right?
yeah,
You're supposed to like it.
If you tell me like my response without any input is like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna put your game down.
Yeah, I'm straight up gonna stop playing.
Yeah.
The moment I see that start happening, which is usually very early on, I'm like, I'm out. This is no.
Yeah, you just have that moment where you're like,
And again, thinking about classification, like I'm someone, and I don't mean to like totally bag on classification boards, I'm someone that needs content warnings for sexual violence.
Yeah.
And so unrated visual novels, I'm often like, ooh.
It's a minefield.
Exactly. And I love it, and I'm so in the zone sometimes, and then bad stuff happens, and then I'm like, whoops, got an Ollie right on out of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, do I want classification to come in more with the ends? Yes and no. Like, again, it's this complicated thing.
That's a lot of the time that's on developers to put trigger warnings in their thing.
Yeah.
Which, like,
we can just start trend. We'll make our own warning, and then we can just like make it normal to have it in things.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll just make it a culture, make everyone else do it.
yeah,
That's exactly
we
it.
are trendsetters, so.
Yeah.
Somebody else has also pointed out in a previous talk when I was in Wellington last week that there's over 500 games that self-describe as visual novels, but Steam doesn't have it as a category.
Yeah.
So it's actually very hard. If you know that these games often have a narrative focus and have trappings that you like, it's player-driven, it's not twitchy, you know, it's not fast reflexes, it's still pretty hard to find.
Though if you download a single game that has an anime-looking thing style, the COD, like, you know how they have like the suggestions thing? Every single game in there will be anime in some form. So, you know, that's one way to find at least anime-looking visual novels.
Ruin your own recommendation.
Like literally one game was one game.
They did it once. So Snow, for example, some visual novels are interactive and have branches. Some visual novels are what we might call kinetic novels, where it's just I'm clicking through static things. So for example, Sakura Spirit as well, that you played through.
I regrettably did in fact play through that.
Do not recommend.
Live tweeted most of that experience with some choice screenshots.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, that was
Fun for me.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was horrible for me.
Yeah.
But also that game is just Boom City. Like,
They look like glass blown, very sad.
yeah, you know, but it is very interesting to play a game where like there is no choice, there is no narrative input in that experience, but it has all of the trappings of a visual novel. And at that point, you could arguably say you're not playing a game at that point, but you are like you're reading a story and it's got art. It's like somewhere in a weird space between like a book and a cartoon, I guess. And that's a really interesting way to tell stories. Like it's got its own breadth of like considerations, like the way that the person reading it affects the pacing and like the tone of the voices that are like the tone that the dialogue is being read in is going to be very different, especially if you have the option or not for voice acting. And the fact that you can layer in, like, it's got more elements to it than a book. It's got music and it's got art and stuff, but it's got less, like, it's not just a very, like, given directly to you experience like a cartoon where you just sit down and it plays frame by frame. Like, even a kinetic novel, like, you're choosing, you take your time reading it, you choose when to click that button. It's not much, but it puts the pacing in your shoes instead of someone else's, and that's.
I mean, isn't that kind of a book though? Like, you can choose what to.
I mean, you can choose when to read the next line, yeah. But there's no picture there. I mean,
that's true. I mean, picture books. But there's definitely books for adults. Yeah. Like, it definitely is a different experience.
That is considered a very childish thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's okay when it's a game.
Yeah.
Or game adjacent.
Grown-up books don't have pictures, so.
It's like, they should though.
They should.
They should.
They so should.
I need picture books, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's in a weird kind of place. It's not quite a book, but it's not really quite a game. But it's like, it's still valid.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, it's a really cool way to tell a story. I quite like it as a, when it's not some weird, like, like a little like panty shot nightmare.
Yeah.
And so talking about panty shot nightmares, I don't want to establish a dichotomy and a real East versus West when it comes to visual novels and what visual novels are good or not. I think everybody in the room needs to acknowledge that historically this has really come from Japan and been cultivated in Japan and carried forward. We see a very interesting cultural leapfrogging at each other where Japan started this and Japan is very good at acknowledging and providing for niche interests, whether that's sexual or otherwise. But we're talking about diverse interests, the type of games that you like. Then we're seeing Western games be leapfrogged then in terms of healthy representation and consent a lot of the time. But again, this isn't like a Japan versus rest of the world.
There are a lot of really weird sexual Western games that I've seen. Because, straight white dudes can be weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, so can other people, but
yeah.
So Tina, as someone that's developing a game that really has a lot more touchstones to like the Japanese parent influence, what's on your recipe list for your game that really makes it more of a Japan acknowledging?
Well, we have paint shots.
Great.
Is that like a picture on the box?
It isn't. However, if you play the demo, it's in like the first 5 clicks.
Okay, good.
Well, then you see people up to know they're going.
I mean, that's my metric. If I don't see panties in 5 clicks, I put it down.
I feel like that's the same review. Like, no paint shots in 5 clicks somehow.
Number of clicks to panty show.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a good review. Be like, panty show in 5 clicks. Good game.
We've kind of tried to straddle between obviously Japanese influence as well as obviously I'm Western, so I kind of brought the two together. So we've done things like, for example, our voice acting is a good Japanese voice acting, even though it's originally in English, just because it kind of like, even most of the visual novels that do come from Japan will be translated into English, but will still have the original Japanese voice acting. So that we kind of chose to go that way. Of course, we have fair few of the cast, of course, are Japanese characters, so Japanese names. It is anime style, but it drives way more into like science fiction. So Japan is less likely to go science fiction than the West is. Like we really like our sci-fi. So I've kind of just tried to bring the two together to kind of make a hybrid baby that hopefully everyone will like, but there's a possibility that everyone will hate and be like, I don't like the other ones. Okay, but yeah, just trying to do both at once.
No, it doesn't seem to be doing that. Like people playing the demo, really enjoying it. There's a lot of buzz.
It's a panty shot.
Loving the panty shot.
Yeah.
So when we've been talking about how VNs can be quite niche, the consumers can feel like, well, I like this one particular type of game, and there's a lot of preconceived notions about what being a visual novel fan is all about. Do you as creators want VNs to kind of stay a little bit niche? Or no?
I want that money. I want dollar bills.
As someone who writes it, I would like, I mean, the niche is really cool because it leads to explore stuff, but also I would really like to get paid by it.
Yeah.
I'm just, sorry.
No, you go.
I'm just sick of people being like, oh, visual novels. Okay, no, I thought you meant real games.
Yeah.
Or like they instantly their minds go straight to hentai or something.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
I mean, okay, yeah. Like, no, I worry, like, with Loverwatch, the amount of people who've talked about it and been like, I can't wait to fuck the robot, and we're like,
well,
this is a PG PG-13 game, and like the first assumption is that there will be sex scenes, and we've actually had to clarify it multiple times that there will be no sex scenes in this game, partly because it's a fan game, we don't want to be taken down, but also because like we're not entirely comfortable with that, and every dating sim is not going to be about sex.
Yeah, I just have the same problem, especially being anime style and some shows.
How many tentacles are we talking?
Tentacles DLC, formally requested.
It's the same thing, like the last time I get asked like about, whether there'll be an adult patch or these kind of things, and I kind of just go, like, because we even have like Bucky Buckers made, so like, blood fillers, like, and they're suggestive, but they're always wearing clothes, because I kind of have the rule that if I can't show this to my parents and be proud about it, then I kind of draw the line, and this is where I stop. That being said, my mom's a bit of a freak too, so but no, like, I kind of, but yeah, it happens a lot. Like, I will seriously get emails and they'll be like, is this the way that I take a patch, or can I do this, or, is there going to be a time this, because that's kind of what I'm after. And I'm just like, have you tried to go
VN gamers are the horniest motherfuckers.
It's so hard. It's a weird place to be as an ACE era creator, because I'm like, I want to write like wholesome stories. I get really flustered whenever I write about holding May's hand. I'm like, woo! So like, it's weird for me like how much people like are hoping for sex from this game. So like, you're going to be very disappointed because I focus on different parts of the relationship.
Yeah. So to respond specifically to the question, I guess I would like that market to grow very, very much. I would like people to expand their like expectations beyond like I'm gonna like get tentacle banged by an alien robot. I mean, now that I say that, I think I may have just printed some money.
I will work with your person.
Excellent. But like that said, I don't want to be an ass here, but as those tools become more accessible, like there are a lot of free visual novel engines, and they are getting perceived more and more as a very accessible type of game to create, we are seeing a weird situation where a lot of people are making a lot of very poor quality visual novels. And whilst I do not want to begrudge anyone there, like, you've made something, and that's awesome, and it's, a great step towards making something that doesn't suck. I don't want people to go into the market without some way of differentiating between, like, a thing that has been made sort of, I don't have the lexicon at the moment to express this effectively, but I don't want people to go in and see something that like a bunch of horny teens made as a joke, and be like, oh, this is this genre. I want people to know that there are people who work really hard and put a lot of like skill and investment into games in that genre that can be appreciated on that level. And I also want those horny teams to make their shitty games, because that's awesome. Like, it's so cool that they can do that, but I don't want them to be conflated. Like, that exists on a spectrum. It's not even like, there's that shit and there's my good shit. I don't want to establish that. I do want, like, I want the genre to be respected, and I want people to take it seriously as a storytelling medium and as a game genre or a game subgenre. So I don't know how to deal with that exactly, but like that's definitely a thing I want. So
we have spoken a little bit about how VNs are a big focus on narrative a lot of the time, and that there are some people who are like, oh, I should make real games, for example. And some theorists have talked about how that is because narrative and emotional engagement storylines are considered to be very feminine, and the feminine is never considered to be the serious or the valuable. So visual novels being like a carrier pigeon for relationships or intimacy, maybe sexuality, lots of narrative, means that there is an uphill battle in terms of consumer perception, because it's like literary awards never going to bodice rippers and Mills and Moon books and things like that, and how much that kind of gets the respect gets
that is real.
That kind of goes along with young adult fiction as well, because often seen as being a very feminine focused thing. Well, it's really not. It's for all genders. People disrespect young adult fiction a lot. They're like, oh, Twilight. It's like, actually, you should maybe read some young adult fiction books. But yeah, it's very much like, it can be associated with women, or especially like teen girls, and instantly be seen as not being real.
Yeah.
Teen girls being acknowledged makes shitloads of money. Really good.
Yeah.
So, make something for teen girls. Would recommend. But maybe you won't get critical success, you won't get awarded, you won't win an IGF, like an Indie Game Fund award and things like that. but what would you like to see more of, and what changes would you like to see in the VN creative community and among consumers?
That's a good one. I mean, I would like more recognized infrastructure for like the way that we like talk about and disseminate those games. A Steam category would be real nice.
Yeah, I would appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, but also just like there's not really like a widespread acknowledgement of it in like developer communities. People aren't really talking about visual novels for the most part. Studios definitely aren't considering visual novels with like a few very specific exceptions. And it would be nice to see that change. It would be nice to see studios go, actually, this is like a really great money to potential profit ratio. What if we, and this is like a blasphemous notion, but like, what if we hired a writer and actually did a narrative game? That would,
writer.
yeah, well, I mean, someone did once, and their studio imploded. It literally created a black hole.
There you go. That's why I didn't have it.
But yeah, so I would like to see like them move out of the realm of like just like tiny indie teams making them to like I want to see bigger studios. It doesn't have to be AAA studios, although that would be very interesting.
AAA.
AAA. 3 of these all in a row. No, I would like to see these sort of like quote unquote AA studios. Like I would like to see more of them. Like teams of like 10 to 20 to 30 people. I would like to see the kinds of VNs that they make with that kind of like that kind of setup, that kind of money, those kinds of like more diverse teams that like a writer, an artist, and a programmer all like collaborating to make the best that they can with the resources available. I want people to put more into that, and I think that's a good step to pushing it more into a more legitimate genre, I think.
I think mine's a little bit weird because it's kind of like a niche thing, but I feel like visual novels are a very good place to bring young adult fiction into games, which I find is a very important thing. Like we've had with Life is Strange, Oxenfree, Night in the Woods, like they're all young adult games, basically. And I mean, Night in the Woods is kind of a Western visual novel, like it's very visual novel-y. And I feel like having that more as an accepted genre, and then also like being able to have a subgenre of young adult visual novels would be really good, because it's a really good genre for like talking about the developing relationships you get when you're a young adult, or like coming of age. Like it's a very good place for that, and I would like to see more of that happen. And I'm also probably going to do some of my stuff in that kind of area, because I mean, of like anywhere to do that in games, that's a really good place.
Yeah, I mean, Little Witch Story is a very young adult focused story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's like, I love young adult stuff as
young adult is so good.
It's such a like it's an accessible genre. That I mean, it's great that like younger people can read it and engage with it. And I mean, if they're not douches, so can anyone older than that bracket. Like, I love young adult stuff, and I hope that I still love young adult stuff in 30 years.
If I ever stop loving the Hunger Games, like, just end me. Because, honestly.
Yeah.
Tina, what sort of changes do you want to see in the creative culture around the ends?
I don't know. I just think I would like to be noticed as a real person. I feel like it's asking a lot though, like to be like. No,
you're right. It is a big ask to be like, I'm real. Please tell me I'm real.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit selfish that it just be like, man, I wish people would be like, yeah, visual novels are video games. I'm sick of having to kind of fight that all the time and being like, actually, here are all these theories, and my definition of what is a video game. I can tell you the visual novel says this and this, and by 3 different theorists, we are in fact a video game. And they go, I don't like reading.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. If that was your argument, just say, I don't like reading. Don't tell me a visual novel is a video game. That's like, fuck. So it's something silly, but it just.
I don't think that's silly. I think that's like,
And especially like if you're at some like a convention and you're showing something, people are like, oh, it's a video game. You're like, yeah, it's a visual novel. Like,
I mean, like,
and then they just leave.
Yeah, because I mean, like, Overwatch is literally a dating sim. And like, when people are like, what are you working on? I'm like, an Overwatch dating sim. And like, please don't judge me, because it's legitimate. Like, I've poured my soul into this. It's a legitimate written story. But yeah,
like you don't go, yeah, I write visual novels. You go, oh yeah, I
yeah, you kind of like, unless you really know you can trust someone, it's very hard to talk about.
I write interactive narrative.
Yeah, I go with interactive fiction a lot because it's a lot easier to be like, interactive fiction.
Plus, it's way more scholarship on it if you say interactive.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is very hard though, because as creators, making the thing but not feeling support from your fellow creators is super draining. Games are hard enough to make without everyone thinking you're a horny nerd, a mum horny nerd.
So many people have been like, these creators need girlfriends, and like me and the other girl, and it's like, we should just break up with our boyfriends and start dating, I guess. Like,
yeah. So that's definitely very exhausting. Yes?
The very word novel suggests to me that then there's a lot of crossover with writing here as well. Do you find, like talking about not fitting in sometimes with the game community or being shunned or whatever, is there any crossover with the writing community?
No, there's not even legitimate novels. Like, I do a lot of prose writing as well. Like, I cannot imagine going into one of the writer circles and be like, so by the way, I did this game where you can date people, and they'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, it's not seen as legitimate.
If it's stuck in the middle.
It's like, at least, I think it's at least legitimate than games.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
novel, like, literature can be very elitist.
Yeah, Little Witch Story is like the length of a young adult novel. It is, but because it is not on pages and because you can click and change the story, that somehow makes it less impressive to people who write prose, like just like straight fucking like, oh, I wrote a linear story, like, you know, somehow that makes it, they look at that and they're like, well, it's like, I mean, you could have written a book.
I'm writing a novel.
I've done that.
Like, I'm writing a novel and I'm writing a game. Like, the game is way harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So something that I wanted to have a chat about is there are people in this room that maybe love VNs and love playing them. Some people might be curious to actually start making VNs. Like Snow was saying, we're not discouraging anyone from absolutely having a go.
Oh no, make your weird crap stuff.
We want
I love it.
I love playing like crappy, like one of my favorite VNs, I can't remember what the hell it's called, like Magic School something, I don't know. And it's really bad, but I love it so much because it's really fun.
But if we do want to get out there and start making bad, good games and experimenting, like how do you recommend that people in this room start?
I mean, for me, Fungus, because that's where I'm at. It's a Unity plugin. You just download Unity and you download this plugin. If your computer can handle Unity, obviously. And there's like so many tutorials. It's so easy to get into. Like, they even have pre-made assets you can use if you want to. And it's just, it has like a whole branching little map thing as well. If you work visually with flowcharts, it's a very good way to start. Also, there's other tools which are also very good.
I don't actually like Fungus very much.
That's fair. It's easy to start with.
Yeah, I would honestly say, like, if you're a writer, consider Twine. If you're not a writer, also consider Twine. Like, Twine is awesome. If you do not ever want to see a line of code in your life, try Tyranno. It's like pretty much drag and drop, and once you get the hang of it, it's pretty, like, you can make some pretty decent stuff in that without ever having to write a line of code. If you feel comfortable with like primary school levels of code, then just download Rentype because it's free and super easy, and there is like just like pages upon pages upon pages of just like documentation and forums and people who will just be like, here's how to do that thing that you want to do. And also it's very easy to take it and put it where you need it to be. Like it can take care of the, like, give me an iPhone version, give me a Steam version, like it's got your back on that stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree with Twine. I totally agree with Twine. But even if you do work with a different engine in the end, Twine is a very good way to prototype your game and make sure that the branching and the mechanics actually work without first like building this whole thing and then hoping it works. If you make it in Twine first, then you have the flowchart and you have the mechanics and you know they work well.
Yeah. And like, don't be afraid to make something that looks not super shiny. Like, that's, just sell it as an aesthetic choice if you have to.
Yeah.
Like, make a prototype with crap, like placeholder art, or just like do some shitty ass sketches, or maybe you're an amazing artist and you can do super good art and you're like, alright, sorry, just fucking do it anyway.
Yeah, who
like,
gives a shit?
Yeah, just do it because it's fun and you will like have something you can put out there. And if you have friends that do other stuff, like just be like, hey, this is a thing we can totally do together. Like, I have artist friends that I'm just like, hey, here's a weird idea for a story. Do you want to just draw a bunch of weird ass characters? And I'll just figure out some script and be like, fucking yeah. It's awesome. So like,
this is the best way to learn is to do it.
Yes.
Like, there's no other way to get better. You won't get better by like writing a big story Bible or coming up with lore and everything. The best way to get better is to write what you want to write.
Start small.
Yeah, like, absolutely. Oh my god, I overscoped my first game so bad.
Do not attempt to write one of the fucking Shit, what's-
Tina's like, no.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
I can't remember the franchise now, but there is like one visual novel series where games are like 1,000,000 words.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, it's a Japanese series. They're very, very involved and complicated, but don't try and write that. Don't even try and write something that's 100,000 words. Like,
Oh, no, don't.
No.
Just write something very short, just kiss the
Yeah.
mechanic. Just like one thing.
write baby's first story.
Yeah.
Do that with like 2 characters.
Man, I wish I was at this part.
Hey, you're doing real good,
Yeah.
so like, you're good.
Mine's like 250,000 words in English, and then I also have it in Japanese as well.
Yeah.
And it's my first game.
I know, like, if you're a bit of a masochist, like, jump off the deep end
Oh, yeah, I was
and do it, because, like, have you been to the Quantum Suicide booth? Like, it looks dope as hell.
No, I'm just faking it. So I mean,
You can't make a thing that exists, it's there. You can see the proof, so
I'll show you what we're all
if you want to take that risk, like, you can do it.
oh yeah, jump is fun.
Yeah.
Jumping is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
I'm
being prepared.
Yeah.
I'm never going to give that as advice,
Yeah,
but
no.
like, you don't have to do what I say. Like, I'll never admit that again, but you can do what you want.
So Tina, you're gonna ask?
Yeah, so I started in Ren'Py, so the one that uses like a version of Python, and it's really, really, really accessible. Like when I decided I'm going to be a game developer today. I started with Ren'Py, and by the end of the weekend, I had a working, functional demo. It wasn't very good, but it worked enough that I could clearly do it. And then from there, I just made the demo of the game that you can actually play right now. And then from there, got the support and everything, and then decided to transition to a different engine. So I went from Ren'Py and then I've gone to Unity. But I went to Unity because I want to kiss beta release, and Ren'Py, Python is not as friendly with consoles, whereas because it's C#, it's friendlier. But there's like, I have no idea what I'm actually saying.
I was going to say, I don't know what half those
Like
words
it
mean.
sounds like I'm like an actual programmer now, but I'm not. I'm just someone who can do it without training, but makes it happen. But if you talk to me about it, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's because the tools are there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tutorials
Yeah.
online.
Like if you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, you can literally just Google, like, how do I do this weird thing?
Yeah.
And you'll get, like, 100 responses that are just like, copy and paste this thing in.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah, like
So,
proofing or whatever it is, to save your life a whole bunch of times.
yeah.
Consumer expectations, I find, are often quite healthily scoped for visual novels. Like, they're not expecting BioWare-style cutscenes with sex scenes that look okay.
Has BioWare ever done a sex scene that looks okay?
Probably all right. But yeah, a lot of the time they're not expecting 100 hours. They're not expecting cutscenes, so the
Oh yeah, that
expectations
was
can be very
the
healthy.
first intimidating thing for me, was like, I need to make something that will take like 100 hours to play, or people aren't going to consider this
Yeah,
a
but not
legitimate thing, and that is like an intimidating thing. It's like, how many words is that? Like, I'll just I'll just write until I'm dead, I suppose.
I mean, isn't it already looking too late? How many things do you want to play again?
Look, I want to cry now.
But a lot of visual novels are quite focused. They've got a respect for time. The return on investment from the player is generally really good. If you're passionate about the ends, you can actually digest a few a week if you want to. It's not like gigantic big AAA. It's very expensive to try and save it. So there are some really good questions in the hashtag. We are running out of time. I just want to ask the creators that are here today if they can suggest kind of like an underrated visual novel that they wish more people would play. And everyone can do that as homework.
I don't know if it's underrated, but it's like my favorite original English language novel that helps. London's the Queen by Hannah and Spiky Caterpillar. Oh my god, I played the shit out of that game. It's seriously, I think I sunk like almost 50 hours into it, and obviously, like, because I just kept dying. But that's what I enjoyed. So, yeah, play that.
I actually had a really good time with Backstage Pass, which is another Western developed one that's it's got a lot of cool stuff in it, so I definitely recommend that. I'm surprised at myself for not recommending like the queerest shit out there, but that one's pretty wholesome. Also, Long Story on like mobile devices is a very, very sincere, sweet experience that is very, like, it's super cheap and you can play it on your phone. So maybe do that. It's pretty good.
I'll get this messenger.
Or like wait a bit and then definitely buy Little Witch Story when that's out.
Definitely that.
Buy all of our games. All
Yeah.
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 And Hey, my game's gonna be free, so you know.
Just consume it. How about you? What would you like to do play more?
I don't play, I've never played any like non-mainstream visual novels, I think, so I don't really have anything to contribute here. Also, I'm keen to hear what other people have to say because I need to play more.
So please add games that you'd like us to play in the hashtag. That would be absolutely amazing. I think my recommendation would be Hustle Cat. For me, Hustle Cat was like, a super amazing game. Like 5 people have played it in the world. Like that full game.
Oh yeah, I still really want to do that.
It's a very good game. It's very well scoped. The assets are great. You can choose a very non-binary depiction for your character. You can choose your own pronouns. These light touch things that are really good. Also, a lot of the romances can be really chaste as well. So it's not like the apex of everything is sex, woo! And it has lots of cats in it. Like it's adorable. So really, really, really recommend Hustle Cat as well. So it's very good. It's very good. So definitely jump into the hashtag and tell us what we should play. I'll start wrapping us up, but there was a contentious question. Do we categorize walking simulators as visual novels? I think they come under interactive fiction, but can they be visual novels?
I mean, yeah, like I don't really see the point of like a semantic argument. Like, is Golden Home a visual novel? I don't care. It's awesome. So
I mean, it's a walking, the walking simulators that don't have any dialogue or anything, I would say not visual novels because it's kind of, novel is kind of in the name.
Yeah.
Definitely interactive fiction and stuff, but not so much visual novels. But I mean, the semantics are dumb. I mean, games in that area already have so much struggle with semantics and whether or not they're real games.
Yeah.
So arguing what they are within the genre can be frustrating.
I feel like if we're both classified as not real games, maybe we should be friends.
I mean, I do both, so I'm already in that little between.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I think, today we've talked about some challenges that visual novel creators have, some challenges that consumers have being fans. There's a real culture in this question of, is visual novel a genre? Is it a category? What is it? We're hoping that we see more conversation, more understanding of it, definitely having a Steam thing, because discoverability for creators is really hard. Like, how do I build a direct line with my community if they can't discover me in Steam? There isn't like a feature page. We have seen really big successes and important things happening for visual novels, with Christine Love winning the IGF Narrative Award for Lady Killer in a Vine, which is great. Super sexually explicit, heads up on that one, but it's very, very clear about that. So I think, as fans in the room and as creators, we can be super excited about the time that we have ahead. Please connect with all of us. We'll definitely give thoughts in the hashtag. And just wanted to have a round of applause for my beautiful panelists.